Hello, my name is GregTech, and welcome back to our GregTech New Horizons. I am just crafting up millions of wetware circuits here, and I've slowly started switching these over when we get like a backup if stuff ends up in the wrong places because of the pipes. It mostly is when a recipe takes a whole stack. A lot of times it uses like a stack of bolts or something like that. So it pulls the bolts out for the craft and then it puts the wrong thing in because the hatch is empty. So there's definitely other ways to do that. Filters and, I could make bigger input buses and all sorts of stuff. But there is a couple ways. One over here I just did filters instead. So that was one way. And the other way I did a subnet, which is its own kind of thing. So you just, add the thing to the stocking input bus and you never have to worry about that. But a little bit of a pain because it's a item and a fluid that I'm putting in here. If I just kept these fully stocked with I think was it indium or indoloy or whatever it is. Yeah, because they all just use indoloy in these circuit assembly lines. It's all the same. If I just kept that stocked, I wouldn't need a chest or a drives. I probably could just do like an ME chest and put the items in that way. And then I think there was one too many. I'm trying to remember. I think that yeah. It ended up being one too many. It was like 9 channels, I think. So I had to put a controller down. But if I just had a chest, then we wouldn't need the controller kind of thing. I don't know. So I may switch all these over, but I don't know. I'll deal with that if it becomes a big issue. So I am smelting up a whole bunch of those, as we can see, for the component assembly line casings. So that is what those are for. It just requires a lot of the circuits. You can see lots and lots of those. So I may even before I craft more of those up, I may even oops, wrong one. Kind of do what we did with the crystal circuits where we just added more. We could do this with a subnet and then yeah, keep parallelizing it kind of thing. I may do that with this, especially now that power isn't that big of an issue. Now, the circuit assembly lines also, you can't do double input hatches, so this is the highest I can go right now because we don't have the next tier up. So if I want to speed this up, it's really just crafting up more, which I may do. I think I was just like, can I make more circuit assembly lines without having to... Oh, when I cleaned up all my things, I got rid of that because I don't know. How many of those robot arms? I'm just curious. I'm like, can I do this without causing it? I want these to keep smelting. I don't want to add more stuff to it, kind of thing, is what I was trying to say. Yeah, I need to make a recipe for that one. I didn't realize that circuit assembly line was part of it. I was probably like, oh, I don't need this anymore. Why would I need a circuit assembly line? Totally forgot about that. Yeah, because I'll be using the crystal line, not the wetwares. All right, so that is... Did I use up all those? I thought I had another... No, apparently I didn't. I did add more molecular assemblers. I thought I had one that wasn't completely full. Yeah, so we got that, and then I do need like 40 something. So this is definitely going to take a while. It's going to be something I'm working on as I'm doing other things. I do believe we dropped from all the smelting that we did with the things that do 500 million now. I do believe we dropped like 60 trillion. So I'm thinking before I craft up, what did I have? 1, so we have 9. I crafted up 8, I had 1, so we're going to have a total of 9. So what is that? I need like 32 more, or 34 more. That might drain that out completely. So what I'm thinking is before I start doing those again, I may actually do a little bit of a side project here. And I've been wanting to do this for a while. But I think I may actually build a large reactor and get a different power source. Thinking that might be kind of fun. A little bit more in depth than just steam turbines and stuff. Because I was thinking, I'm like, oh, I could just craft up another super extra large steam turbine. But I'm like, that's kind of boring, to be honest. And then I was like, oh, I would probably need another exchange heat reactor, and I would need more tin plasma. And I was like, yeah, let's see if we can do something different. Which I think I'm going to attempt. Now, this might take me a little bit of time because there is different types of fuel. There's the Mark 1 and then the Mark 2. But moving on past that, the Mark 3 does require another reactor as well. So this could turn into like a big project, which... Why play GregTech New Horizons if you don't want big projects? So you would need a real fuel refinery to get up to the 3rd one. Now the question is, do we want... Oh, heavy redox. I was like, yeah, I don't know how fast this burns, to be honest. In the reactor, it does do 1 every 8 seconds. Look how much power we're going to get. I mean, obviously, this is top tier. Like, I might be getting ahead of myself there. I guess what I'm trying to say is, which tier do we want to start with? Do we want to start with 3? Do we want to start with 1? I don't know. Should we just let's get this crafted up and, I don't know, let's give it a go. Yeah, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's a couple other ones, but these don't give enough power. It just kind of is like, how much effort do we want to put into this? We are producing 100 million in our other thing, so it does kind of have to work with that. Now this has 50 million different bonuses, so you're like, oh, that's like nothing. But there is, you do a coolant, boost the power, the other stuff. You can see there's a thing for 16 times the power. All right, let me get this starting to craft up. None of this is overly complicated. I did recipes for everything. There was just a couple things here and there, but overall, it's really not that complicated. You know, field generator, pumps, some UV circuits, superconductor wires. None of this is complicated. I just realized I don't have that. Do I have... I don't know if I have a Mark III. I have ZPM ones, but don't think... Yeah, I don't have this version. All right, well, I got some stuff to do here. Let me craft this up. I'll just relatively easy crafting up the parts that we need for it. And we'll put this together. I haven't looked at the actual lead, tungsten steel. That's not a issue. That one looks a little scary. All right, not scary at all. This is just lead, and I'm doing lanthanum. 4 lanthanum or 72 or whatever iridium. So much, much cheaper if you do that. And I have millions, or almost a million. Also, I need to deal with this. Forgot about that. I'll do the Sumerian too. And we are back now. I need, as I was looking at the thing, we need liquid, consume liquid air coolant, keep running, otherwise it'll void it. So that was the first thing I needed to get set up after I have put this thing together. So we did the usual output hatch and the space pumping module, yet another one. I only have 1 mining and 5 pumps now. I just realized, like, this is in the way. I can't put my thing. So yeah, I did liquid air. It was either pump it with a normal pump or use our space elevator, so not really a choice there. Obviously, we're going to use this. And it does use like 9 million or 8 million EU per tick, so I have it turning on and off when it fills up. Now, I'm going to set this. I have set up this reactor part near the battery, because I'm not moving this, obviously, so I need to produce the power here, and we'll pump it directly into the thing. So we got a laser there. We'll put it in there. Got, as you can see, I have the UHV 256. Do this really quick. Hopefully that didn't turn that off. Cool, we're good. The cool thing though is that now I have upgraded the buffers or the hatches. This has 205 billion EU per tick in it, so even if this is turned off for a couple seconds, this one will have to empty out, then this one, and then this one, and that even doesn't count all the other ones that would have to empty out before stuff starts turning off. So we have quite a bit of a buffer now if I'm working on power. We're not going to have, turn this off for half a second and like half the base shuts off. So we got a little bit of a buffer now. But here is the reactor. Now, I've never run this before, but just kind of going by, it consumes liquid air, which is the first thing we have to deal with. Probably just do this underneath. I didn't even realize we actually have channels right here. I didn't realize that was so close, actually. So that only uses 12 channels. We have plenty. This. I can't remember. Are these are the... I think there's a mix of... I think that's a pump, isn't it? I'm like, I don't know if we actually need that anymore. Just kind of thinking off my head. And then do this. And there we go. So that has filled up liquid air. Now the next part is, I guess, coolant. That we haven't even crafted up the fluid, the actual fuel yet. But it can do, it consumes coolant to increase the efficiency. Now, a bucket a second isn't a small amount, but cryothium, as we know, I get from bees. If I want, I can just add a whole bunch more bees if we want. That is something to think about how I want to. I guess we would probably want like a dedicated cryothium thing. And I think we're actually just using a single block, to be honest. I think we just use this, don't we? Yeah, well, there's no way this is going to be fast enough. Keep up with that. So I think I'm going to craft up a separate coolant thing. Now, I'm probably going to produce this fuel elsewhere. Only the reactor is going to be here. I don't think I'm going to set up machines over here. Depending on what fuel we do. Like the refinery, but I'm sure we're going to have to like get this stuff with other things. I'm not going to have a dedicated process chain, I guess I would say. I'm going to use other machines. So where would where can I do this? I've gone ahead and set up another fluid extractor. I think I'm going to set up a tank for this as well, because I do use it in other places, so maybe one of our yacht tanks or whatever, I'll set that up. Although, the other option is that, I can't remember the name of it, TFT or whatever it's called, this thing. That might be something to think about. Because this holds 25 different fluids, so I don't know, I'll throw it over there to keep an eye on it. So there is the solid cryothium now. So, turned around. I was like, where is the fusion reactor? I forgot the thing's back there. I moved the fusion reactor. This doesn't have a thing on it. So we got our liquid air, space elevator, we got our gelid cryothium. The next one, and I haven't quite figured out how I want to go about doing this. Probably not this way, but I just kind of want to get it up and running. Now what I've done is atomic catalyst, because this actually is relatively easy to craft up. So this way, atomic separation, catalyst ingot, this orundum, which we get tons of now from the space elevator, and plutonium, which that stuff's easy, and then this raw atomic. And there's a whole bunch of different ways to create it, but I think I've done that recipe. So blaze powder, draconium, and ardite. It's just what I had the most of. And you get 63 out of it. So you actually get quite a bit. And then that. So I just threw that on the mixer to get atomic separation catalyst. And then you melt this down to get the fluid. So that is actually pretty quick. Now, the problem you start running into if the mega blast furnace is taken up with other stuff, then you'll start running out because you can't be smelting stuff if it's running other recipes. But yeah, so there, I'm sure I will switch that around. I might do craft up like 1,000 or something atomic catalyst at a time in a level maintainer. I could even do the actual fluid. I don't know if that would be the way I would do that. I wanted to craft this up directly, but maybe the ingots would... I don't think that would work, would it? If I put that in there? I don't know, actually. Never done... Yeah, Oh, I have done drops. I don't know how I got the drops in there. But apparently you can do that. How did I? I honestly don't know how I... Like, how did I get 15,000? Oh! Duh. It's 50,000 because I typed 50,000 in. I was like, how did I hold 15,000? Alright, so I guess... Here, let's do... I set that up when we did the thing. Can I... do this? I'm gonna remove this. The other minor issue with this is that you don't get 1,000 when you melt this down. You only get the 144, so you need so much more than, say, cryothium, which you get a bucket worth per dust. So if I, like, do that, and then we'll just do this. Alright, so maybe I'll do this. And I don't know, 100, 10,000? I don't know, 100,000 maybe? That's a lot of, actually, that's a ton of ingots now that I'm thinking about it. Let's start with 10,000. No, that's like a stack. Whatever, we'll do that. We'll see. I can always adjust it. There's no point in freaking out about that. So we should be... Oh, did I? No, okay, it did. It did put that in there. Yeah. So this is... You can see like 700. Question is, how long is this going to last? Is the question. Now, if we do this, there's different things you can throw in there for more power. Cesium, uranium-235. I could even do Naquadah if we want instead of the atomic separation catalyst, but that's only 4 power. If you do the separation catalyst, it's 16 power. So, yeah. I should rename this thing. I was trying not to. I didn't really use this one up here anymore. Why I don't have a name for it. Maybe I should do NQ reactor or something like that. See, that is pretty quick, to be honest. Look how fast we already got that up there. All right. And then the final one is the fuel that we're going to use. And I don't know how fast, like I said, this fuel, the very basic one is 1 second is 1 to 1 second. So 1,000 seconds to do 1 bucket's worth. Is that what I'm kind of reading? I would like to just try that out, the very basic one, to see how much fuel we get from it when we have it completely boosted. I think this is the highest boost we can get on this thing. I could be wrong. So I do need to... We'll start with the very basic one and we'll see, because this should be the easiest, although this isn't a fusion reactor. And the fuels aren't the easiest to get. So it looks like we need a distillation tower, and I don't know where it starts. Is it Naquadah? Is this the solution? Is this where it starts? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look, because it doesn't really say like, oh, this is how you get it. Like, this all comes from like slightly cracked. Yeah, I don't know where. Oil cracker. What's this? Asphalt. Yeah. So don't know where that comes from. It's somewhere in here. I'm like, I don't know where this stuff comes from. All right. So this is all just mixing that, but I don't know where this. It looks like it starts with this. So emulsion, chemical reactor. So it looks like it starts with enriched. Is that what I'm... Can do that. All right, let me take a look at this and see where we're going with this. I don't necessarily want... I'd rather use enriched, I think. Because 1.1 million to 115. What I have ended up doing is knocking down all my oil stuff because I really didn't use it anymore. And I figured we could go ahead and set this up and connected it over there. Fortunately, I don't have a transformer handy, so I kind of had to run a bunch of cables, but it's not that bad. Need to hook this one up. Also, it looks funny. I wish it didn't look funny, but... So this will get us the acid Naquadah, I think it's called. Need to hook up a couple of these. Could be good, I think. Oh shoot, that's in the way. Actually, I'll probably go. Okay, so that's the output there. I was debating whether to... which one we want to do, and I think I will probably eventually switch to this one, because we need this extremely unstable if we want to get the 3, and I don't think there's any other way to get it other than that. So I will probably switch that over, and we'll end up doing this. And then we'll switch over. But I just want to get the very first one, because we do actually need to get the same fluid, so that we're actually going to use this in a higher tier, even though we don't actually use the tier 2. Anyway, we'll get there. So I got hydrofluoric acid in there. So hydrofluoric acid enriched, and that will get us acid emulsion and this radioactive stuff, which we'll just dump in the A system. So hopefully did I miss something? Oh, 16. Why did I think it was 3? Where did I see 3? Is that a different one? That might have been a different part of the process. I'm like, I thought I saw 3. I don't know. Okay, so there we go. Output hatch. There is our emulsion. Then we're going to miss this, and I have all these turning on and off if needed. I did also go with UHV because these recipes are a bit slow. So 180 seconds. It is EV, but if we overclock it a whole bunch, we don't have to worry about it. So we got that. We're getting our radioactive sludge. It does say danger on it. I'm assuming that's just maybe you take damage if you hold it. So moving on to the next bit, we need this emulsion, which is quicklime. I didn't have quicklime anywhere actually, so I have to craft it up. So I will probably do like a stocking input bus again. I'll just craft up like 1,000 or something at the... I just have a recipe in that chemical reactor. I tried to use that other chemical reactor, but there was a clash with the calcium that we use in there, so I set it up in a different place. So yeah, stocking input bus. There's the 3. I was like, okay, I know there was a 3 somewhere. Quick lime. And that should recreate that and some fluorospar. It may need to be connected underneath. Yeah. So that's the output bus. That's the fluorospar stuff. And then there is that one should be going in there. Yeah. I could have moved this back to like there. The problem was I want to have the output hatch being able to toggle a centrifuge off, and I don't. Holy cow, did it just go through all that quicklime? Holy cow. Alright. We'll have to deal with that somehow. Again, I don't know how fast this is going to burn through the fuel that we have. So we got our emulsion, and that is a circuit of 1. Oh, you have an input hatch? I don't think I have an input hatch. I'll just have to throw it in the controller. Yes, and then I also have there's a toggle on in there once it fills up. Should be halfway. Ah, okay. So there is the emulsion, or solution, right? Solution, and then we're getting this radioactive stuff as well. All right, so then the solution goes in a distillation tower. Again, actually this isn't slow. All right, so let me build it. I was debating whether to do the Dangote thing, but I think we'll just do that, because I think the Dangote has to be either at 4 or 12. I don't think there's any other. I don't think you can do 5. But thankfully I just broke down a whole bunch of distillation towers, so we have it all. So, gone ahead, built a distillation tower, just a regular one, and I created a subnet as well. Just use the largest drive, well, almost the largest drive. There is, I think there's a basically infinite one, but didn't do that. So yeah, got the 5 types in there, used a subnet for 4 of them. I hooked this up. Hook that one up. I just realized I didn't hook the other thing up. Let's get that going though. All right, there we go. And then, yeah, I'm using the output hatches instead of the interfaces. Do that. All right, so there we go. That's working through there. I don't know how fast this is going to go through it. We'll see. We'll leave it. Do its thing. Now we need to add these to the fusion reactor, which I built behind it. I got connect it. Power. I'm just going to use a transformer that does 16 amps of UV. I put 8 energy hatches. I think that's enough. Didn't look actually. I think that's enough UV energy hatches. I could be wrong. No blow-ups. That's always a good thing. Oh, hold on. That is facing the wrong way. That was scary. That could have blew up if I... Actually kind of surprised it didn't blow up. Well, I guess, no, it wasn't inputting into the thing. That's right. Because that's the output. So it actually wasn't inputting it, but if I had tried to turn it on or something like that, we might have had some problems. All right, so there is that. It's getting power. I think we have enough. The UV energy hatches is at 48 million EU per tick each. I don't remember. I know the LUV, the tier 1, it's 16 million per hatch, but the higher up you go, I think it's 32 then 48. Anyway, we need 320 million. We should get from the 8. Now, let's this up. We'll just do this. Oh, again, I don't know how fast this is going to go either. All right, everything turned off. Why? We turn... Oh. Oh. I may rearrange this. So that's... I don't necessarily want to put it on void in case something screws up. I don't want to just start voiding the fuel forever. But the water is not being emptied. I think it is. Yeah, I think it was not. It wasn't running because the water tank was full. Although I thought the distillation tower voided that all out. Alright, yeah, it's working. Alright, it's not like tearing through that, is it? Yeah, 20 liters. So it's not powering through it like super quick. But I do need to make this first fuel light and heavy. So let me do that. I don't know which one's which. Light and heavy. Just so I can do this. I do have a wireless just connecting it. There it goes. Right. Goes. Could even throw some acceleration. I don't think acceleration cards were remotely necessary, actually. I usually throw one in, though. Just to get over that, like, initial slow before it ticks up. All right, there. So that's all going into our fusion reactor. Yeah, 300, just right under. I was like, that's not going to be a problem, is it? Do I need one more? Is that going to work? It doesn't have room for another amp. That's a bit funny, isn't it? Is that going to work? Okay, it did work. I wasn't sure. Okay, so as we can see, it is quite slow as well. I do have the output hatch. Obviously, there's only one output hatch there. And maybe I'll mark it just for the fun of it. All right, and there we go, 100. Very slow. So what we're gonna do is this. Do NQ fuel. Import. Oops, no, import. Yeah, the only problem with that is can't see because there's like a little bit of a buffer. I wish that was a bit easier to see. All right, so we should have 2 in there. Just, yeah. Okay, so there we go. There is our very first liquid fuel. Eventually, we're going to switch these probably to a higher tier. But we need the refined factory for that. So instead of doing the fusion reactor recipe, we'll do this recipe to get that. It's kind of what I'm thinking, but I wanted to get this going first. Just make sure this is turned off. I don't know if it's possible to blow up. I have no idea. That there. NQ fuel export. Okay, so this has been a journey, and it's actually been really fun, actually. So yeah, we got our liquid air to, well, it needs liquid air, otherwise it voids the fuel. The reactor will explode when there are one or more types of fuel in the hatch. Well, we don't have that, I don't think. Consumes coolant. Well, we got our cryothium. Hopefully we produce it fast enough. We got our excited liquid to increase the power. So our molten atomic separation catalyst is in there. Now that's only 20 liters per second, so hopefully won't be too bad. And then we have our tier 1 thing. I do kind of wish there was possibly a way to see how much this is producing. I don't know if it's actually going to say. But we got our source hatch, target hatch. I'm assuming this is going to work because the hatches did connect. All right, so should we try to turn it on? There we go, it's running perfectly. I don't know how much it is producing. That 42 million? All right, so it is going through that faster than we are producing it. All right, so that is a bit of an issue. But I do think it is possibly producing 42 million. Is that, I guess? I don't know if there's really any way for me to easily tell with the lasers, unfortunately. Okay, well there we go. We got it going. I am gonna have to speed this up if we want to do this, but again, I may just jump directly to a higher tier fuel. I kind of wanted to get it up and running and just kind of see how this was gonna work. Yeah, but that is quite slow. We're only getting it every 100. We're only getting it 100 every 25 seconds. Maybe I could throw more reactors to speed that up, or energy hatches to speed that up. Shouldn't it be faster? The Mark II. Shouldn't it actually be faster if we're doing it at 3? Maybe not. I thought that would have been. Yeah, I thought that would have set up. Interesting. Okay, well, I'm gonna work on that, and then yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it is quite a large amount of power we're actually producing there. All right, really cool. And this is just the tier 1, by the way. So tier 1. We're getting almost 50 million. We're not having to worry about turbines or anything like that. Okay, obviously we had to build a whole fusion reactor for the setup, but and you know, this stuff isn't the easiest stuff, and we have a space elevator for liquid air. So yeah, there's quite a little bit that went into it, but yeah, really cool. We'll mess around with this more in the next episode. So anyway, that's gonna be it for today. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.